You're LaJean? Hi, nice to meet you.
Lejean Russell is just getting off work at Home Depot in the Mountain View neighborhood. It's a Sunday, meaning she's got a long commute with lots of walking ahead of her. She let me tag along.
I've been catching the bus since I was a teenager.
You're from San Diego?
Born and raised.
Lejean has a couple different bus routes she can take, each with different transfers and timetables. She checks the different arrival times on her phone.
This one comes in 7 minutes.
Okay, so should we wait here then, do you think?
Yes, we can
Okay.
wait here because the other one is 20 minutes, right?
Okay.
One of the biggest problems getting to and from work on a Sunday, Lejean says, is buses don't run frequently enough. If she's seconds late for one bus, it can take her a half hour longer to get to work. None of this would be a problem, of course, if Lejean could afford a car. She lives in Oak Park, only 3 miles from her job.
If I had a car, it'd take me like 5 to 10 minutes to get home.
Instead, it takes you...
An hour.
Sunday bus schedules used to be a lot better in San Diego.
Hello, how are you?
But starting in 2007, the state and federal governments began slashing their subsidies to public transit. That forced the Metropolitan Transit System to raise its fares. Then in 2010, it made sweeping cuts to services, most of them on Sundays. Those cuts were first discussed at an MTS board meeting in December 2009. There's no video of the meeting, but there is audio. Things got pretty emotional during public comment.
Well, on Sundays, the bus 11 is the only bus that gets me to church. It takes me 3 hours, but at least it's there. I don't know anyone with a car. Sorry. My livelihood is like going down the tubes. How am I supposed to get an education? How am I supposed to get a job if there's no transportation?
When MTS proposed the Sunday cuts, they said they would hopefully be temporary until the economy recovered. Well, the economy mostly has recovered, but subsidies to MTS are still below pre-recession levels when adjusted for inflation. It's been able to bring back only 60% of the services that were cut. Last year, MTS saw its first overall decline in ridership in several years. It's now doing surveys to see how it can run the existing network more efficiently. Transit advocates like Colin Parent of the nonprofit Circulate San Diego say MTS has a tough job. It has to serve San Diegans who depend on public transit while still running routes that have the most riders and bring in the most money. That's especially tough for MTS because it gets a smaller chunk of local tax dollars than public transit in other cities.
There really are difficult choices between efficiency and cost effectiveness for rides and these social equity concerns, and making sure that people who don't have access to a car are able to get around using public transit. And it's not that one or the other is totally the most important thing. They're both important, and you have to balance them both.
The final stretch of Lejean's commute is a walk up a long hill. She and some neighbors recently gathered signatures asking MTS to restore Sunday service to a bus line that runs right in front of their low-income housing development. Last April, they met with a transit planner to discuss options, but MTS says it simply can't afford the changes residents are asking for. About an hour after leaving Lejean's work, we finally arrive at her apartment. As we talk outside, she sums up the problem.
When you're filling out an application for a job, it asks you, do you have reliable transportation to and from work? Most people put yes because that's what you have to do to get the job, but they're still on public transportation, and it's not reliable.
San Diego has an ambitious climate action plan that expects thousands of San Diegans to quit driving and start taking public transit. But unless public transit improves, it risks losing the riders it has now.
Do you want a car?
I do want a car. Right now, yes, I do.
Just because it'd be easier?
Just because it would be easier. It would make my life so much easier.
Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.